It seems music and mind-altering substances will forever be connected in some way, usually in a way that's very negative and often tragic. Fortunately, there's an icky, sticky little plant that makes you a little bit silly, a plant that has in fact inspired countless songs throughout music history. This is known as stoner music, whether it be a simplistic bop about ruining your life from getting too high, or a distorted mess of layered, overdriven guitars played by a bunch of fire-obsessed schizophrenics. Stoner music can come in many forms, but which is best, and more importantly, which is the most effective? Alright, chat, do you guys smoke a little bit of that Mary Jane? Because personally, I do not. But as a concept, Mary Jane, marijuana, whatever you want to call it, has inspired a lot of music that we would call stoner music. I wanted to find out what the greatest stoner song of all time was, and the way we're going to define this, it's not actually about the quality of the music, it's about the way in which it portrays the stoner ideology, alright? The gang weeders. I asked primarily my Discord, and we got stream chat as well, to supply some stories about their greatest stoner experiences with music. And then, of course, we got just some regular song suggestions, and we got the queue open so people can skip the line. Also, this is the second time trying this because I thought it would be a good idea to get stoned for the stoner stream. I'm not good with weed. I cancelled the stream yesterday after 2 minutes because I started overthinking, and then I sat in a pit of my own despair, overthinking every aspect of my life, which has been quite cursed recently. But hey, I'm blessed in a lot of ways. Blessed in a lot of ways. First one. Sorry if this has already been submitted, but Tomorrow Never Knows by the Beatles is probably the best stoner song of all time. My personal experience with this track started when I took my first edible. Needless to say, the edible left me completely floored, so I decided to amplify the feeling by listening to a random weird music playlist. When Tomorrow Never Knows came on, I instantly got overstimulated and stressed the out. There's so much going on in that track, it just psyched me out. It's funny looking back at it, but this song is objectively amazing because of its historical significance and musical complexity. Beatles, chat. Everybody point and laugh. When George Harrison discovered India on the map, it changed the f***ing game. I can understand why this would psych you out whilst you're stoned, because imagine, this is John, right? This is John singing. Imagine hearing John while stoned. The essence of him beating the shit out of his wife is in every word he says. Surrender to the void. Boom. All jokes aside with the Beatles, I know I take the piss a lot. This is a pretty groundbreaking song for the time period. This is pretty groundbreaking, and it was only possible. Probably not just weed. They were probably taking a lot more than just weed. Do you guys actually despise the Beatles, or is this something that I have spurred on somehow? I've had friends. Oh, it's an inside joke to me and my friends, and we've gone to parties and said it in front of like the arty motherfuckers, you know, the Beatles motherfuckers. You can literally call them slurs and they get less offended. Okay, well that was a decently good stoner song, but I think it's more psyche-heady, more psychedelic. I think that would be played around somebody who's obsessed with taking magic mushrooms. There was this one time where I got extremely stoned, but in the bad way. Like really, really, really bad at my ex-friend's house. I honestly felt like I was fading in and out of consciousness when I was conscious. I felt nothing but paranoia. Anyways, imagine how I felt when I heard this song came on in a pitch black room with the only light source being my friend's CD player. The song was also distorted as hell in my mind. I genuinely felt like I was going to die until I said something about it to my ex-friend, and she reassured me that everything was okay. Everything was a blur after that, pretty sure. I don't remember that story, but let's hear this song. Oh, it's 9 Inch Nails, yeah. Yeah, I can see what this might do. I feel like this isn't really a stoner song, but the combination of the story with the song does describe something kind of funny. I can see why this would be quite terrifying to somebody who's actually like greening out though. It's a bit too obtuse. It doesn't flow. It hasn't got the stoner flow. It's too... Yeah, about the Beatles, the reason I hate them so much is because I lived with somebody at university who was like so ridiculously obsessed with the Beatles. It's like obviously every kind of music listener will like probably get into the Beatles when they're a kid, but being like obsessed with it whilst you're like 19 is just too much. And then he got everybody else obsessed with it in the house, like 8 people, and they were all playing Beatles rock band, and it's just like, I'm not like 14. I don't want to hear like Here Comes the Sun at a pre-drinks before going out. So yeah, that's where my hatred comes from. It's more basically from there. Pretty nice song. I feel like this would be quite uplifting while stoned, to be honest. All this one says is, me when I got so high, I swore the spirit of Kurt Cobain was in the room with me. Oh, this song. Okay. Yeah, this song. Okay, so this is obviously a classic, but I don't understand the story behind it. How did this have anything to do with Kurt Cobain in your mind? Marijuana is not very good for your productivity. I tried to get a high for the stream yesterday. I'm so foggy today, and I'm just bare depressed. The depression is for many other reasons, not just the weed, but it doesn't help. The Kurt thing was after my mum packed my first bowl for me. Never smoke a heroin addict's weed. Oh, okay.
Now I'm jacking up, and I know why.
Now my abilities in the bedroom increase tenfold when I get stoned. I can't relate to this. That's if I ever had sex ever. When I was 15, I had a friend who was heavy into Tool. This entire album was on actually, but we were already high, had smoked a few bowls, and she decided to clean her piece. She used nail polish remover and forgot to rinse it. She heated up a dab for me, and I inhaled for 2 seconds before immediately knowing something was wrong. I started throwing up, couldn't see straight, and all she did was laugh at me. Turns out I had a seizure because of it. I ended up getting my bearings enough to leave, and I somehow drove all the way home. The only reason I know the story is because I had to pick up my sister on the way, and she kept me awake. I didn't go to the hospital. To this day, I hate Tool. I also learned that I easily could have burned a hole in my lung. I remember just shaking and trying to get to my sister. My quote-unquote friend didn't give a fuck about me and had actually joked about her man being able to assault me in that moment. Okay, yeah, that is fucked up. That is not a wholesome story, that one. Good golly gosh. It looks like we're gonna have to play Tool. I dislike Tool for other reasons. Nothing as traumatizing as that. I don't like Tool particularly. I can understand the appeal. It's very technically good. It's just like, I don't know, it just sounds like something about it just kind of takes away from it. It sounds like tacky and corny. This is a pretty good soundtrack for just huffing down nail polish remover though. Yeah, I can, that is not particularly a stoner song. Again, it's kind of just like a psyche song. It's kind of all like a redneck, like drinking booze, a slightly intelligent redneck drinking booze song. So we got Smoke 2 Joints by Sublime.
4 of them habitually smoke marijuana cigarettes.
Marijuana cigarettes are the craziest slang. Wait, I recognize these lyrics. I think I might have heard this. This is perhaps one of the most iconic stoner songs of all time, to the point where regardless of if I smoke or not, I listen to this every single 420. I listen to the entire thing regardless, every single 420. It's a little bit of a tradition. I think you guys already know what this is. This is Dopesmoker by Sleep. We might be here a while, chat. It's a slow burn. It is a slow burn. Right, let's skip in a little bit. As you see, that was a 10-minute skip, and it really has not developed that much. We'll do smack dab in the middle, right under this play button. Bush! It sounds... It literally sounds the exact same. That actually went... That was almost as if the song didn't stop. What the fuck? We got some vocals now though. Yeah, so that is an absolute classic stoner song. Slow build, can probably only be appreciated by somebody, only fully appreciated by somebody who's absolutely fucked up on that green stuff, on that icky sticky green stuff. I was straight edge until I was 24, and one of the first times I took an edible, I was in the car driving my friends, and this song came up, and when the car alarm beat switch comes on, I started tearing up, went non-verbal, and looked out the window for the rest of the night. Radiation Lung Pollution by Little Ugly Mane. Classic. This is one of my favorite albums, and this is one of the greatest hip-hop albums ever made. Something about the way Little Ugly Mane produces is so sick, and he was like in the kind of black metal and hardcore scene before he was before he started making hip-hop music. It's like the way I kind of analyze like Little Ugly Mane is you know how MF Doom is like a villain, but he's like the over-the-top kind of villain of hip-hop. Little Ugly Mane in this album, he's like playing a villain, but it's just like the dark and dirty kind of grungy like criminal, like parodying like a lot of hip-hop because it's so over-the-top, so like violent. A lot of the album, and like the way it describes crime, so over-the-top. Oh, here we go. You might start crying again. Here comes the beat switch. I wish production like this was still kind of preeminent in hip-hop, but it's like, I don't know, it doesn't feel like there's that many modern rappers that are like that heavily inspired by Lil Ugly Mane for some reason. But I feel like a lot of people who really like Lil Ugly Mane fit into like kind of more the categories of like me, like, or like you guys, you know, who are into like loads of different genres. Yeah, that is a classic stoner song, and that is an amazing song. That entire album is one of my favorites of all time. It's like, it's a 10 out of 10 in my opinion. My favorite hip-hop album of all time, like bar none, 100%. I used to be so into stoner metal before I started YouTube. I kind of fell out of it when I got more into like other subgenres. I don't know, I feel like sludge does a lot of the things I really like about stoner, but in a way that like I feel like stoner can get a bit too corny sometimes, you know. It gets to the point where like once you've heard like a lot of the stoner metal, like Bongzilla and all these other bands, you've kind of heard it all. It's all very similar, but like if you like that sound, which I really did for a period of time, there's nothing really beats it. But then I kind of like I found things that I really like about stoner in doom and in sludge. But I liked what they did individually, and it was more unique more than stoner. You know what I mean? The lyrics as well, it's just like, come on. It's just all about weed. I think stoner is more indebted to blues and pentatonic than sludge and doom, which is probably why it's same. Yeah, of course, yeah. Yeah, it follows like very similar scales, and that is probably because they're all so stoned. So they're just playing very fuzzy pentatonic. Yeah, the vocals aren't my favorite on this, but it's just like, it's kind of just the vibe you feel from the tone and the chord progressions. No matter how far stoner goes, it always ends up as Sabbath worship. Yeah, it's all basically indebted to Sabbath, because Sabbath primarily used pentatonic as well, in a way that was like entirely unique, which created metal basically. Doom is supposed to be the genre that's like Sabbath-esque, but then a lot of stoner, it's just the tones are very different, because I don't think tones like this were really possible when Sabbath was starting out, you know. Also, pentatonic makes it easy for the heavy fuzz to sound good. Yeah, there's space. It leaves space. Sick. Yeah, that's a good stoner song. I mean, it's a stoner metal song. Of course, it's going to be stoner. Do I think weed should be legal? Yeah, I think all drugs should be decriminalized. I think it really will, like, it's the best thing to do. But I don't think you should smoke weed that often. I think it's really bad. If you are comfortable in your career and earning a fuck ton of money, fucking light up a Zuby. I don't practice what I preach, obviously. I don't think it's the best. Do as I say, not as I do. Especially if you're younger than me. It's really, like, it can mess with your brain. 18, that's what I like to hear. Legal, which is rare for this time period, based on what we've seen on stream before. God damn. I love that. It's such a played out feel. But I love it every time. It's obviously so played out, but it's great. Well, there's a Snoop Dogg and Jelly Roll version of this song. What the fuck? There's no way. We'll just do it quickly. Well, it features Tom Petty, but it probably because it has to, you know. I hate Jelly Roll. Where did he come from? Where did he come from? Why did this need to be made? Why do they keep butchering older songs? I swear it's so trendy, and it's always got this fat thing, Jelly Roll, on it. Or MGK, this thing. Yeah, that's bad. That's real bad. We'll do this one. Yeah, that sounds about right. Come up with a name for a strain at Dogshit OG, but that actually already exists, so... Goofy ass shit. Yeah, it's pretty enjoyable. I enjoy this a lot. The type of shit I'd hit the yoinky sploinky to, indeed. Why can we start talking about clapping Batty in the chat? There's too many women in here. It's scaring me. Too many women are talking about clapping Batty. This might be the best thing we've had on stream ever, period. I really do think A$AP Rocky's really good. I think A$AP Rocky is slightly underrated, which might be surprising, but I think a lot of the cloud rap stuff he did, like really not long after Lil B and Young Lean were doing it. He is one of the pioneers of cloud rap, 100%. Young Lean, Lil B, and A$AP Rocky, you know what I mean? So we got America's Most Blunted, featuring Quasimoto by Madvillain. Quasimoto is one of my favorite hip-hop acts, period. As Fantano would say, the production on this thing is tight. He'd probably say that, right? Me and Fantano actually just have to fight. I need to become more famous, chat. You need to spread my name so I can get to the point where I can box Fantano. I need to. He's way bigger than me. He's barrel built. Fantano is kind of a beast, but when I lock into something, I'm pretty athletic. I'm pretty good. I can do good in sports. I got that reach. I think I'll do him in a boxing match. NHS killed Doom, man. The UK medical system killed MF Doom. I love the way Quasimoto raps, and Quasimoto rapping is just Mad Lib, but the way he does it, I'm pretty sure, is he raps really quickly, slows it down, and pitches it up. This is Green Thumb by Bongzilla. It's going to be very similar to that Weed Eater song that we played earlier. Very similar. And if the riff is good, the stoner metal song is good. And the riff in this one is good. This is 100% one of the most iconic. Nothing better than that Birmingham smog-fueled cough to connote chronic consumption, chat. This is Sweetleaf. Alright, we got the perhaps the more stoner version of Sweetleaf, a song that's parodied to make fun of Sweetleaf, Sweat Loaf.
Satan, Satan, Satan.
I just prefer it so much to Sweetleaf. I think a lot of the people in this chat room prefer this to the original Sweetleaf. This is when you get a little bit too stoned in public. The other one is a nice mellow Sweetleaf. This is getting too stoned in public and maybe smoking a little bit PCP and taking a literal bite out of somebody's arm. So silly. I of course like both, but I don't know, the way the riff, I feel like the riff was made to be played heavier than what like the early 70s could have allowed, you know what I mean? Okay, well we got the idea of that. It kind of repeats from then on. $3 for Cypress Hill hits from the Bong. The sample, brother? Let's fucking go. So recognizable as well, classic. Son of a Preacher Man, obviously, by like Dusty Springfield, whatever the fuck her name is. Let me cook for a quick second. I recognize, so when you're stoned and you're listening to music, there's nothing nicer than a nice recognizable fuzzy feeling from an extremely recognizable sample. And this is like incredibly recognizable. Everybody, even if they don't know the original song of Son of a Preacher Man, they would have heard it at some point in their life. Medication, your medication makes me high. It just doesn't hold a candle to the bass god. It doesn't. So many people have rapped over this beat. It doesn't hold a candle to the bass god. It doesn't. And I'm sick of hearing it. I just want to... People, I've talked to art hoes that listen to I'm God, the instrumental. No Lil B, no bass god. You know what? We're not doing this. We're not doing it unless it's the bass god.
You know, I always wanted to be the best. You know, I always wanted to be God.
Why would you not want to be blessed by the bass god if you're going to listen to this beat? This is something I'm very passionate about. I've thought about this a lot.
Yeah. My new name is Bass God. Ice cream paint job.
You're all blessed for a good period of time. Because guess what? Lil B the bass god commented on one of my videos. I don't know what to say. It's actually getting me a little bit emotional. I can't lie. This will play at my wedding. Mark my words. This isn't really a stoner song. I just... There was somebody rapping over this beat on the playlist, and like I can't have it. It needs to be this. It needs to be the bass god. It needs to be Lil B the bass god rapping over this beat. It can't be on its own. It can't have anybody else. It can't be a remix. I don't have Riz. No, I have game and I have swag, but I don't have Riz. 2009 this came out, chat. 2009. Have you ever heard anything that's more ahead of its time than this? Game defines when I'm already speaking to a woman. I have game. Riz is more the approach. It's more the beginning. I'm not good at that bit. I can't do that bit. I don't have the ability to approach and to define swag. Look at me. We don't need to define the swag aspect. You guys already know. That was a pretty holy. That was a spiritual experience. This song sucks. Fucking stupid. These roads of flames are catching us. This is also definitely gonna get my stream taken down. It's pretty catchy. It is pretty catchy and it's pretty good. Alright, so I'm definitely not recording this for the outro because the stream got taken down due to a copyright strike. Definitely did not happen, but that was pretty good. I feel like we had a lot of good stoner songs in there. There are a lot of good stories connected to them. Definitely some songs that will either lift you up whilst you're extremely fried, extremely baked, extremely zooted, or songs that will just scat the fuck out of you, scare the shit out of you whilst you're blazed.